Hey, what's up, Lightbolt Joe here. Today we're going to discuss Halloween 2. So this came out in 1981, sequel film to the 1978 film, which takes place October 31st, 1978. We start out October 31st of 63, 15 years later, and then Michael Myers is back at the family house, causing havoc in Haddonfield, Illinois? Indiana? Illinois. Illinois? I don't remember. Huh. I should know these things. Anyway, so then the end of the first film, Dr. Loomis shoots him a bunch of times. He falls off the balcony. He disappears. Laurie is, just in disbelief. So this is a very interesting sequel film. John Carpenter and Deborah Hill are back co-writing the screenplay. John is not directing the film, but he's also doing the music for this film as well. So it's their story. It's their characters. They're continuing the story. There's a 3-minute overlay in the beginning of this film, which doesn't really happen in film, where the last few minutes of the first film is the beginning few minutes of the second film. And the first 3 minutes of this film is the last few minutes of the first film. And it just immediately just transitions into the next scene. You never really see an aftermath project. You never really see an aftermath of what happens, and then new stuff happens, and then what's the aftermath of the new stuff that's happening. I'm just blown away, and I've never seen this entire film in its entirety. I've never seen the Halloween franchise as much as I've seen other franchises. I've seen Nightmare on Elm Street the most out of the horror franchises. Nightmare on Elm Street and Scream I've seen the most in regards to franchises. But Halloween, I never saw all the films. I never paid attention to all the details. You just know certain things. Laurie was a babysitter, and Michael Myers is the Shape, and his mask is based off of William Shatner as his character in Star Trek, whose name is just avoiding me as well. Memory is not up to par after many hours of work and things today. So I'm amazed with this beginning of the film because it's an aftermath film. It carries over direct last 3 minutes of the first film with the first 3 minutes of this film. Incredible. You never see that ever. I've never seen that ever. And so what happens next, right? So Laurie is brought to Haddonfield Hospital. She's taken care of there, but it's a very small hospital. It seems like it's a very small town, but it's not, I guess. Who knows? So there's a lot of newborns, and there's nurses, and there's doctors and stuff, right? So it's on the news, and Michael is still causing havoc in Haddonfield, and eventually he makes his way towards the hospital, realizing that she's going to be there. A kid in a very similar William Shatner mask is inadvertently crushed by the police car in a van, and explosions happen. It's a matter of, is this the Shape that they killed? Is this Michael Myers that they killed? Well, let's get a dentist. Check the dental records. And it turns out this was a 17-year-old kid. But Michael is 21 still, because it's 1978. And I love that they put a time to it, too, because two teenagers are coming up to cops and they're like, oh, we're worried about our friend. He left the party around 10 and we haven't seen him and stuff. And the cop's like, it's only 11. He could still be lost. But it turns out it's the one who actually burned in the fire. So we get a time-stamped time that the middle of this film takes place 11 p.m., October 31st, 1978, which means the events of the first film had to have happened around 8, 9 o'clock on October 31st, 1978. It's so cool. I love when a film does a date and a time. Wonderful. You can pinpoint the place. You can give it an actual anniversary. It's fantastic. So, all hell breaks loose, of course, at the hospital. Individuals are getting got one after the other, and Laurie is slipping into some kind of dream state where she's seeing herself as a younger kid, and her mom is saying she's not her mom, and she's seeing this kid in a facility, his blood getting on the floor, and what's going on, what's happening. So we don't know much about her family. It's then revealed after Michael's escape that the governor then released a secret document, a secret file on Michael Myers, indicating that Laurie Strode is actually his sister, his half-sister. So it's very interesting having that after, or his full sister, and she was just adopted. His full sister, and she was just adopted. His parents passed away, and when she was 2, she was adopted by her parents And the question then is she aware that her parents are not her full parents? Like, is this the dream state that was catching up to her? They touched base on it. They didn't go full detail to it. So my question in the beginning of the first film was, why was Michael so dead set on, getting to Lori, kind of a thing, right? I didn't understand it. Was it because she saw, peeked into the window of his family house? Why? And then it's revealed that, oh, well, he, had killed his sister October 31st, 1963. So he's now back to finish the family line, if you will, to kill the next sister. But again, why? Why is he doing that? Also, how did he know that he also has another sister? Who told him that? So certain things that I'm noticing with this particular franchise are not being answered, but it's okay that things are not being answered or more questions are presenting themselves. It's okay. I'm not like fuming about it. It's okay because the character itself is a very disturbing character. They call him an animal, they call him an it, they call him the boogeyman. He does these movements and very creepy, creepy, creepy. Doesn't say anything, very creepy. So the point of the horror film is the horror, and the character is horror. So for that, it does its job. Little plot points here and there thrown in, maybe they'll be answered, maybe they won't be answered, but they don't really have to be answered for the character to stay creepy. Character creepy. Creepy character. So for that, we salute you, Michael, for doing your thing. Being the creepy, disturbing, iconic Halloween character that you are. I loved that Samhain was brought into this as well. Michael writes it in blood on a school chalkboard, Samhain, which is pronounced Samhain, even though the professor, Dr. Loomis, says Samhain at one point. And I'm like, no, it's not how you say it. But he gives the pagan druid speech about it. The druids celebrated it's the end of summer, beginning of the fall, the berries of the thinnest, stuff like that. So like he was giving certain things. He was giving the bonfire sacrifice ritual to it, to the druid gods, thinking that they could see the future from that. That Samhain, as he said, was important, even though it's pronounced Samhain. So whatever, semantics. I myself could personally be mispronouncing it, but I like that the actual Halloween origin of the druid festival of the god, of God Samhain, was brought about. So I thought that was neat. And that's how Halloween started, for you people who think that it's a devil thing. Like, no, you clearly don't know history. Maybe if you read other books, or actually read a book, maybe you'd learn something. In the words of the iconic song from Pocahontas, you think the only people who are the people who look and think like you. But if you walk the footsteps of a stranger, you learn a thing you never knew you never knew. Mind blown. Wow. Read, people. Halloween 2. On to the next review. Mahalo.